all over the world. We ain't talking about just Memphis. I said world, you're being depicted. We are being depicted as hoes.
Facts.
Shaking, hey, crooked. That's us.
Yeah.
That's what we're known as in Africa, in Israel, in Australia, in Spain. That's how they're portraying us.
I'm all for feminism when you say the word, the empowering of women. But the actual feminism movement is like the way they try to empower women is to make them equal in every respect of the word to men. And I feel like there's such a harmful way for our young women or young men to think, because if you try to make a woman the exact same in every respect to a male, when this not who she is naturally, you stripping her of the great things that make the woman so powerful. Yeah. Like if you strip her of her feminine powers and you try to make her more masculine, that's getting rid of the exact things that make her so special, that make her so unique. So if you just only try to like promote the masculine parts of society and you try to do away with the feminine parts of society, that's misogyny. Like people love to use that word in the wrong context. That's real misogyny when you try to make the women men. All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Don't Be a Viking podcast. Today I got two sisters with me, one familiar face and one not so familiar face. Now, whoever want to go first, I'm gonna need y'all to introduce yourself by name, age, and relationship status.
Oh, okay. I get the privilege here. My name is Shukriya. I changed my name. It means a person who is thankful and grateful, like because I grew up ungrateful. So I figured I needed to have a reminder. So it's Shukriya. It means thank you in Northern African language and also in an Indian Sanskrit. I was born in 1947. Go figure. I am a Memphian. I was born and raised here. And I lived on the West Coast for about 30 years, San Francisco Bay Area. So when I was there was an opportunity for me to become an herbalist. I'm a California State Certified Herbalist. That means I create formulas to help your body shift and change and stay vibrant as you mature, because you're going to mature, don't even try it.
Tell them how old you are so they can keep that in mind.
I was trying to let them do the math, but I'm 77 years old.
You know folks' brain a little slow. They ain't going to do the math. So, now, as we go through the podcast, I want y'all to remember she's 77 and just pay attention to how sharp she is.
Oh, thank you. That's a compliment, because this sharpness is a result of being a vegetarian for like 50 years. I mean, it was a challenge, but now it's easier because there's so many products available for us to partake in.
What made you first?
Yeah.
Huh?
You gonna get into it before you introduce me?
Nah. I'm just asking this one question.
Okay.
How long? Not how long. What made you first start being a vegetarian?
I was sick.
Okay.
I was a sickly child in the family. I kept getting sick and I kept going to the doctors, but they didn't have a cure. The key word here is cure. So somebody got in this ear with, why don't you just change what you eat? Start eating this, stop eating that. And so I did it. And when I stopped eating what they suggested that I stop eating, I literally started feeling better. I was like, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know food had an effect on your body. We just simply didn't know. So that's why I became a vegetarian. Then I had a son. He's in his early 50s now, and he was very, very ill. He had eczema. His arm was literally hanging off the hinges. So come to find out, after taking him to several doctors, that he was allergic to cow's milk, which most melanated people are. So.
Okay. Now, introduce yourself, Nehemiah. Well, I just said
I guess I got a familiar face, but my name is Nehemiah Withers, and I am 17 years old. And like I said last time, I am unmarried. So.
Unmarried.
Me too.
Yeah. How long have you been widowed?
Since 2018.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that far off.
It depends.
Okay. So was it hard? Like, cause I can imagine, like my dad's friend just died from a heart attack because he lost his son.
How old is he?
He was like around 45. His son was like early 20s. Son died, I think to gun violence. And then like shortly after, I think not even probably a whole week after, the father was just in Walmart or in the store or whatever, and he just collapsed and died from a heart attack. So I was looking into it and I'm like, that is crazy how much heartbreak can like place an effect on you. So how did you heal yourself from that?
From
losing your husband.
Did you finish introducing?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I have not healed. We had a lot of complications within the so-called marital structure, and so I'm just now, I guess, on the last phase of grieving. I was crying about him the other day. I still haven't healed because there were so many things going on that, it should not have been that. Just wouldn't. The healing has been broken. It's been like in pieces. So I'm still kind of grieving a little bit over it.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
He was a good man, like a good man, like here's the money and that kind of thing. Like, where you going, baby? And that's okay. Come back when you get a chance. That was just a good man. I was like, damn. So
okay. So the first question we need to get into today is, and we'll start with you, Nehemiah, since we started the introduction with her. What is the importance, if any, in courtship? Courtship, if y'all not familiar with the term, because it's a term that's not widely used. Courtship is going through a certain process when dating a woman to not just settle in the girlfriend phase or we just talking phase, but let's go through an intentional process of getting to know each other and build on a deeper level. It's basically, I refer to it as an interrogation. You interrogate her, she interrogate you, and y'all seeing how compatible y'all are with each other to move on into a marriage, not just a boyfriend and girlfriend. So now that we got the explanation out there, what importance, if any, do you see in courtship?
Okay, courtship. Courtship is important because without properly knowing a person, you will end up in a situation that you don't want to be in.
Thanks.
And when it comes to courtship, it's not taught in society, and I wish it was.
Yeah.
For my own sake and for the sake of others, because if we just properly really sat down and understood the importance of really courting somebody, really getting to know somebody, then a lot of mishappenings wouldn't happen as far as children out of wedlock, children before marriage, and just simply just understand the person that you are willing, that you're putting your life on the line for, because you're gonna end up having to do that in your marriage and in your relationship eventually, and because that's what it's about. And people these days, like especially people my age, 17, and even younger, they get into relationships and they don't understand the importance of they don't I don't even know if understand is a word. They don't comprehend a person. Like they just, they're cute.
Yeah.
They're cute. They got nice shoes on, and okay, I'm gonna date them. But then it's like when it comes down to the nitty and gritty of it, when something happened, he messed up one time or she messed up one time, they over. Like it's over. It's like it's so absurd, because it's like that's literally the point of a marriage, a point of a relationship, where you have to be willing to go through those hard times, those times of separation, those times of just, it's gonna be times of just stress, and just speaking off my experience alone, and I'm only 17, so That's the importance of courtship. The importance of courtship is just to sit down and to think, to meditate. You meditate on the partner that you want to be with, meditate on the things that you want to experience with that partner, on the children that you want to raise, how you want to raise those children. That's all that comes into play. You can't come into a courtship and I don't want to have children. Oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. It's not about what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's not about what you want to do. You change over time. You're gonna change. Your needs is gonna change. That man needs is gonna change. The woman's body changes drastically when she starts to actually give herself to a man.
Yeah.
When a woman actually gives herself to a man, her body changes.
Then I'll touch on two things you said. Mm-hmm. One, you said for your sake and for others' sake, like we should study courtship, like as a society. Mm-hmm. And when you said that, I instantly thought of a previous thought I had. One, I say it's two definitions to modesty. The first definition comes from developing an internal value of yourself. And when you know who you is and you really respect and value who you is, then you don't feel the need to brag. You don't feel the need to show your naked body to strangers. You don't feel the need to be involved sexually with people who don't care about you or understand you completely. And the second definition of modesty is recognizing the vulnerability and the value of others and protecting their vulnerability and value, not only for the sake of that individual, but for the sake of society as a whole. And they might, if you don't understand it properly, sound like a bunch of words just mixed up. So example I use for the second modesty is, say we young in school and a picture goes around of a young girl exposing her in a nude way. Mm-hmm. Now, all the young men sending it to each other with the woo, it come to my phone. The modest approach in that second definition is not constantly tagging along with, all right, I'm sending to you, like, bro, it gets me, all right, G, this stop here, this stop now. Because I understand, I know what pornography does to the brain. I know what it does to us psychologically. I know how it'll affect this young girl, hurt her emotionally, take her through heartbreak. And I know what it'll do to the rest of us, the society factor. The rest of us in school is spending our time joking, laughing about something so degenerate instead of having more positive, uplifting conversations. So the second definition of that modesty in this example is, all right, bro, this stopping here. Like, nah, we ain't finna keep passing along. And you can even take it further if you okay with confrontation, to confront the other men in your circle and tell them, like, nah, y'all tripping. But if you don't even want to do that, especially as a young man, you probably ain't like learn how to confront people properly. All right, just don't pass it on. It stop right here. As soon as you said that, it instantly clicked in my head. Like both parts clicked in my head. The second part clicked in my head of the words you just said. The first part clicked in my head by the clothes you wear. When you know yourself, you don't feel the need to show your sexual parts to the world. So off real, without speaking, you covered the first part. Like you just look and see, all right, guys, she got her covered. Her sexual parts are covered. This, then third. All right, cool. She checked that box. Bam, the second box, for your own sake and for the sake of others, protecting others and trying to help others be more upright. You like, all right, cool, we need to learn this in society. And the second thing you said, you was like, we just date. Like, since we just date, we don't take the time to really understand ourselves or understand the other person. When you said the word date, it made me think of like a calendar. A calendar got multiple dates in it. So when we use the word date and we put these words in our vocabulary, a date is a short-term thing. Whether you say a date as in like a year, whether you say a date in a day, it's still something to just come and go. So we just date each other and we have multiple dates going on in the same day or whatever. Like, it's like, is this really the type of life you want to build yourself around? Yeah, no substance.
No type of goal. It's like people just get here, and it's like, I'm just have fun. I'm just having fun. YOLO. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not having fun. Life is not. is have fun in life, but me, I'm not wasting my time. Okay,
I want
you
to
ain't finna
have
waste my
fun
time.
in the type of way of like we getting rewarded by the accomplishments we build. I don't want to have fun just by getting drunk or smoking. Like, bro, there's no accomplishment in life. Folks drink every weekend like you celebrate something. Your life is hell.
It's hell.
What are you celebrating? What are you getting drunk from?
Celebrating hell is what you say.
Like, that's all you do. Like, and I don't even advocate if it's time to celebrate for you to drink. But if that's how you celebrate, at least do it during the time of celebration. You spent this whole week building somebody else's dream, going to their plantation. Then on the weekend, when they free you of the plantation, you go get drunk. That's the same thing they did on the actual plantations. The slave owners get the slaves drunk just to distract them. If you got a drunk mind, you don't got a focused mind. So they like, bro, if all my slaves drunk, which in that time is more understandable, they really going through hell. So they trying to use escapism in a way of liquor to escape their current reality. But the slave master's like, gang, if I can get everybody drunk, nobody worried about revolting. So everybody cool. Same thing now. If all us drunk, you think they worry about us interrupting the infrastructure that they built? No, because I'm like, they're stupid. Like, I don't want to co-sign with it. I won't say it's stupid because I don't want to offend the brother or sister that is currently drinking, because I don't want them to hear it and be like, oh, well, if him. No, I want you to hear it and be receptive to it so you can be open to change. But regardless of that, what's your take on why courtship is important, or if it's important?
Well, of course, I'm going to come from an old school perspective. I can't help it. I would invite everyone to really look at the word court. I mean, what do you do when you go to court? You're interrogated. You're expecting a sentence. You have to go through a lot of questions in order to prove that you are innocent or not. So, and then the word ship, that's kind of like obvious. You can see it selling on. They sell on. So it's really crucial, because I've been married 5 times because I don't do the sex thing unless I'm married. That's just old school. That's me. I was born in 1947, and we were raised and trained to be that way. Not that everybody did it. Not that I even did it, because, hey, guess what? Anyway, courtship is something that we really want to be careful about. And it's okay, ladies, that you do have a list of characteristics, that you want to see in the man that you're purporting to spend the rest of your life with. You better kind of know what you want him to have, because guess what? Your mother did not raise him, and his mother did not raise you. So that makes you absolutely what? Different. Yeah. You're different. So explore those differences, by asking certain questions. My thing is, and it puts me in a certain space, but, at my age, I still want to get married because like I said, I don't do the sex thing. Yeah. So I'm like, anyway, my thing is, at least know if you can't string 2 sentences together. That's what I'm saying. I'm an intellectual person, and I'm not trying to brag, nothing like that. About my collar. But if you can't string 2 sentences together, then and sex is only going to last. The interest of it depends on the female, but the sex. We having sex, that's only going to last about 4 or 5 years. And guess what?
Fall out every time.
That's what I'm saying. It's the interest is going to be less and less and less, unless the woman knows a few tricks. Talk to me afterwards. My thing is really take your time and ask questions that are pertinent. A lot of men right now, there's a piece in the Bible, I can't quote the exact verse, maybe Nehemiah can, but it tells you that in this time there's going to be like 10 women to every man, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a scarcity. There's a reason why, but we're not here to talk about that today. But just take your time and write down some of the characteristics or personalities that you would want your mate for life to have. That's really important, because you're going to run into problems, and you're going to have to know how do you say? I I want to see the word argue comes up, but what are the other synonyms for argument?
Come to
Persevere.
come to a solution.
You're gonna have to. At some point, you're gonna bump heads. Now it could be over money, which is the biggest thing in a relationship is money. It could be over children. That's the next biggest thing. So just what do you want him? Do you want him to be the sole breadwinner? You want to sit out? Yeah, just know what you want so that you can present that to him during your courtship. I can't tell you how long. Most people do it for a year. And get counseling. Premarital counseling is crucial. I mean, that's what they call it now. But when I was growing up, you just came over on Sunday, honey. Some chicken and some mashed potatoes and some greens, and we sat down and talked. That was your counseling. Because, African Americans, melanated people don't tend to, we don't tend to take well. We were talking about this earlier. We don't tend to take well to going to a psychiatrist. And there's a reason for that. So I would think courtship is crucial. It's critical. You have to take your time and abstain, because sex is glue. You know that, right? I say glue. And so if you start having sex with somebody, it's good. God forbid. It's
make you stay for longer than you need to stay.
And so don't try to hold back on that and just, interrogate him and allow him, that's a strong word, to interrogate you. But then I didn't call it court. Court, where's the court?
Where you decide what you need to do from her on
right. Now. You might be able to make it, or you might not.
Yeah.
So look at the word, look at the epistemology, the origin of all words, and just try to figure out, if this courtship gonna sail on, or if it's gonna stop. Yeah. If you're going to get what you need out of this relationship, you still can't know until you get into it.
Yeah.
So.
Then I think one of the important things about courtship that you just brought up was the counseling part, not counseling just amongst your friends. Oh, what you think about it? Like, they don't got no more sense than you got, but going to wise counsel, whoever that may be.
We do have an elders group where you can come and sit and talk, premarital talking, just talk. I mean, what? So that really helps, and it's critical. It's Mom put it like this. It's our culture. Do you know what culture is? It's culture to talk to an elder about a move that you're about to make. Because elders, like we were talking earlier, the blood circulates somewhere else. When it stops here, it goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we got what is commonly known as wisdom. That's a wise or what's wise. Where'd it come from? Okay, let's be real.
Yeah.
So definitely get some premarital counseling from your elders, and we do have an elders group here, but I'm in charge of it. But I encourage the elders, don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Just let you guys talk. Let's talk.
So what do y'all think is the most important attributes that y'all need to, make sure y'all got aligned in the courtship process? Like, if you can give the top three, what's the top three most important qualities that you need to check in him and he need to check in you before y'all move forward with the courtship?
I'll let you go first. Go on.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay, I would say that we have to keep in mind where we are in the time. This is 2024, and there are about 10 women to every man. So I would think that, the most important question for me, it would be, now look, are you open to it? What does polygamy mean to you? Now, we're in the South, and, we're usually the last ones to get information, but there's a question, because there are a lot of women available now. So I would want to know it initially, and I can read body language real good. So if I ask you as a man, what does polygamy mean to you? And you start squirming and digging and scratching, I already know.
Yeah.
You're going to stick around with this thing, and I'm not about that.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it, let me know what her name is. Call and talk to her. Hey, girl, what's up? You want to know. That would be real critical. And then, some men would be like, oh, I'm not interested. Well, that's fine. And then the other, I think, burning desire would be, the financial responsibility. Because when I grew up, you just took care of the woman. I stayed home, whatever. Yeah. That's not the case anymore. Do not ask me to quit my job because I ain't finna do it.
Yeah.
I like working. So, what am I bringing to the table? The last relationship I had, it was like, okay, you take your money and you put half of it up for our travel because we're going to travel in another 5 years. So that was my job.
Yeah.
I work it, but I put the money up. And then so we just need to be clear about money and sex. Money and sex. Food, okay, because he can eat whatever you give him. But make sure you got those two questions kind of clear in your head. And, if he says he's open to polygamy, explore it.
Okay.
There's rules for everything. There's rules for governing everything.
Facts. Folks think polygamy is just, I can just go and have sex. No.
It's really about the children.
Yeah. Like, if you not a person, a man of high responsibility, don't think polygamy is just, I can just have sex. Polygamy is adding on more responsibility. It's not excusing you from any responsibility.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't want to take on extra burden, you can say it's extra pleasure to come with it. Like, if you a proper man, heaven do reside inside a woman. So you get more of that heaven state, but with every piece of heaven you get, you gotta till that ground. So it's way more tilling. Yeah, it's way more cultivating you gotta do. Way more growing, way more sowing, way more everything, including work you gotta do. So you get a lot of peace, you get a lot of pleasure. Pleasure don't come from nowhere. Like, pleasure gotta come from you putting work in.
And see, in my thing, before go, it's like, and this might be old school, call it whatever you want. I don't really care because you don't pay my rent. I don't care what you think. I would rather see my man with another woman. This is old school. Than to see my friend, my girlfriend, another woman with another woman.
Facts.
I mean, what is that?
Facts.
I want to see you walking around. No, baby, no. Baby, go over there and check on such and such. She,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of thinking. Yeah. And then notice, I don't want y'all to Google, how many men is it in Memphis? How many women is it in Memphis? Notice how she's saying for every man is 10 women. Yes. Man don't mean male. It's not for every male, it's probably another female. For every 10 women is one man. A man, the difference between a man and a male, you just got the XY chromosomes. All right, cool. A man come with a different level of character, morality, wisdom, this, that, and the third. So just because you a male, you can't say I'm a man. Because a male can be a nigga. What is a nigga? A nigga is a product of a slave. A nigga come from the root word, what is it? Next something that mean dead. Nigga, the word nigga derived from a dead person. The word nigga derived from somebody who was owned by a slave.
Actually, a nigger was somebody that they made. They literally made the nigger during the during the chattel slave revolt or the chattel slavery period era of our lives. They literally made a nigger. And so how do you make a nigger? That's another topic.
That's a deep topic. So it's like, just because you a man or a male, you might be a nigga. So it's not every 10 women to a nigga. Every 10 women to a proper man. Yeah. Now, Nehemiah, what's your top 2, 3, whatever characters that you should look for in courtship?
Okay. Speaking from the woman's side, a man, he needs to have substance, some type of substance.
Okay.
I mean, you speak like just speaking on my behalf.
Yeah, on your behalf.
He needs to have a vision. He needs to have he needs to show me. I don't care if he got the vision. You need to show me what vision it is, because you can have it in your head. But
you go down.
Yeah. What are your steps to that goal?
Thanks.
You know, like.
If you say, I just want to be rich. Gee, that's not no vision. How?
Sir.
Step by step. How much money you got in your bank account right now? You got $10. How you going to turn this $10 to $100?
Yeah. I need to know. Okay. So That's one of them. He
How
needs
can
to
I
have a
help
goal.
you?
He needs to have a vision, and secondly, he needs to have financial substance, being able to provide, of course, because I have a father and he provides very well. So I need to see that in the man that I give myself to, and then lastly, I would say, I need to know what type of man he is, what type of desires that he has. So, like she said, polygamy, like that's a real thing.
It's real. It's all over the world. They do it.
It's the only place that they don't do polygamy is America.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
And folks still do it secretly, just cheating. Like, you might as well do it proper.
Yeah, so
Chicken aside.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So I need to know, like, I need to be like, is he married? Is he willing to do what it takes to take on another woman?
Yeah.
And all the things that comes with that, because I'm not just gonna marry any man that has a wife.
Yeah.
Like, you got, like, I ain't gonna go into it, but anyway, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, how do y'all feel about during the courtship process, and now y'all ready to move forward? Y'all feel like y'all compatible with each other? How do y'all feel about the father of the soon to be wife ending the courtship? Like, nah, I don't approve of the dude. Y'all not getting married. Do y'all feel like that should be permitted, or should the father allow the daughter to enter the courtship with the man that she vetted?
Okay. That's a tough one, because speaking in modern times, women are raised to have their own minds. We're not raised up to be in subjection to a man.
Yeah.
Nowadays, even though it should be preferably to be in subjection to some type of authority.
Yeah.
That's, some type of authority that has some type of sense to them. And now that we don't have that, it's a little hard for us to trust in a man to get to court another man. You know, so even me, I don't even know if I would be okay with that. I'm just speaking like in modern times. We're not in biblical times anymore. I mean, well, we are in biblical times, but we are in the ancient times. Yeah. So it's less like very less. Especially in America. I mean, it's happening in the world, but it's not happening here in America.
Yeah.
It's not happening here. So, I think that if I was raised like that, I don't think it would be any problem. Yeah. Because I would be able to trust that man to court the man that I'm going to marry. Yeah. Because back then they courted they did that. They did arranged marriages for lineage building, for tradition, for the culture purposes. Yeah. Now we're not getting married to build an empire, to build a kingdom. We're getting, or to raise a righteous family, raise righteous children. We're not doing that. We're doing it for our own pleasure, so we can have some type of money in our bank account, so we have a big house,
companionship.
So we can have, we have this sense of, it's just this sense of a fairy tale love, and it's not real love. It's not fairy tale. It starts off like that, but eventually it's not gonna always be that.
The road get rough.
Yeah, it's not gonna always be that. But of course you're gonna have, of course you want to have that with your partner, but it's not going to always be that. That's not what it's about. It's about building. It's about sacrifice. It's about the children. It's about everything but what America tells us love is about. So, yes.
Okay. So what's your take on
what was your question again?
Let's say the young woman has went through a courtship process with a young man, and the young woman's father vetoes the courtship. Like, he said, nah, you ain't get married to him. I don't approve of him. Do you think that's proper? Or is it more proper for the woman to go ahead and marry the man she vetted through the courtship process?
That's kind of like a catch-22, because I think it's real critical for you if you literally are going to be conscious enough to court someone, because right now they It's that love and hip hop just got us open up our legs, and that's it.
Yeah.
We're all over the world. It's important for you African American women or Black women or women of melanated skin color to know that all over the world, we ain't talking about just Memphis. I said world, you're being depicted. We are being depicted as hoes.
Facts.
Shaking, hey, twerking. That's us.
Yeah.
That's what we're known as in Africa, in Israel, in Australia, in Spain. That's how they're portraying us. So, my point is, get your father involved in the courtship process. Make sure that at least once a month, he can sit down with that man that you are supposedly going to go off and spend the rest of your life with, and just have a conversation with him without you in the room.
Yeah.
And then maybe you get some favoritism or not. You'll be able to at least accept why your dad has vetoed, the man. You could at least rationally talk about it. But I think that we are so far removed in this time, to be honest with you, as it relates to a young woman literally taking her relationship to her dad and saying, look, the dad is in jail. We're dealing with mass incarceration.
Yeah.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We have to be realistic about where we are in this country. I wish you just Google it. Everybody in there was a Black man. That's why out here it's 10 women to every man. I ain't no me. Women are now starting to marry men that are incarcerated. Why are you gonna take that to your daddy? I'm just saying.
Okay. My take on it is, I feel like it ain't enough, brother. Well, I'm not gonna say enough. Enough is opinionated, but I feel like since every father is not highly educated, then the daughter don't even trust the opinion of the father to like tell her how she should go forward with the rest of her life.
Yeah, because maybe he wasn't the best example.
Yeah. Then even if you was a good example, I don't see you studying. I don't see you really putting time into making yourself knowledgeable about courtship. So even if you had a successful marriage, I can still look at it like, hey, maybe you just struck gold and got lucky. Like, I don't know if you really wise in this. Yeah. So I feel like, for one, it starts with the father educating himself. If the father becomes qualified, then I feel like you justified in vetoing the process of marriage that your daughter is going in. If you knowledgeable enough to know how to take care of her and know how to properly manage her in the right way, then you able to identify if the next man can replace you and apply that same management to your daughter. But if you're not wise enough to really know the ins and outs of this human being and how we said earlier, till the ground of her, and you're not a expert farmer and cropper, then why would she trust you with your advice? She gonna look at you like, look, I feel like I done did just enough, if more studying than you. Let's say if you do no studying and she did no studying, y'all in the same boat. So if y'all opinions are conflicting, of course she gonna go with her side over your side. Yeah. So I feel like, for one, it depends on the knowledge level of the person doing the vetoing. But I do think a woman should give somebody that authority, even if it's not her daddy. Whether you agree with the teachings of a church or some religious figure, or if it's just the wise person that you grew a relationship with, the wise people in your community. It might not be somebody you met in person. You probably get counseling from a wise person over the internet or whatever. I feel like you should give somebody the authority to, even if it's not veto it all the way, you should give somebody the authority to have a significant amount of say-so in your courtship process. Because love is blind, especially in a society we live in now. You probably not doing courtship proper. You probably start having sex.
They not doing courtships.
Even if you're trying to do the process correctly,
Yeah.
Somewhere through the courtship, y'all probably had sex. Y'all probably got, even if y'all didn't have sex, y'all probably got too intimate to where oxytocin still started to release between the two.
Yeah.
So it started messing with your mind and how you feel about this person. So since love is blind, you probably need somebody to step in. Hey,
Yeah.
did you notice this flaw in dude? Or did you see how she did that? And just give you something to think about outside of your own opinion. But to completely veto it, this got to be a person you trust to the highest extent. Because you probably in love with this person. Like, you ready to marry this person. Then somebody say, nah, like, you don't need to. You go, what? You go flip out. You go, well, I don't want to hear that. And still gonna do your own thing anyway. So I feel like if the credibility of the person doing the vetoing is so high that the young woman or the young man can really be like, I ain't want to hear that, but I really trust your word. Then I feel like it can work. But other than that, if you just got an opinion with no substance behind this opinion, no knowledge behind this opinion, ain't nobody hearing it.
Yeah, and it's one other thing before you go on, with the father and the daughter.
Yep.
The daughter before she, ends up, or just before she makes a decision, it is important for her to go to her father if he is credible, like you said.
Yeah.
Or her grandfather or her uncle or somebody that's credible. And sit down and really examine who that person is. So like not necessarily the person that you're courting, the woman is courting, the man that the woman is courting, but the man that the woman is closest to, the man that the woman looks up to the most. So like, for example, a daughter and a father.
Yeah.
If the daughter needs to sit down with her father and see if the father can have a conversation.
That's right.
Because she needs to know, okay, is this man that I'm looking up to as a male figure that's gonna be my number one, he's gonna be my example of the man that I'm attracting, the men that I attract, and who I'm looking up to. So it's like, if this man cannot have a conversation, if this man cannot cultivate me, if I'm not feeling properly taken care of, as far, not just the financial part, that is the most basic part of taking care of anything. That's money comes and goes. It takes money for everything. That's basic. That is bottom line, basic. That when it comes to actually properly cultivating, properly taking care of a woman's, nurturing a woman's abilities, her soul, her mental. If you can't sit down with a woman, if you can't sit down with a man and properly have a conversation, the man that you look up to the most, it comes to the point where, can you even trust yourself enough to pick a man?
Yeah.
Can you even trust yourself as a woman to do that? And if you can't, it's time to figure out a solution to see, okay, this man in my life he's bottom line doing the basics.
Yeah, he's not qualified.
And he's bottom line doing the basics. He's not really cultivating me. I'm doing all the work. So it's like, okay, I need to find a solution to see if I'm qualified to even pick a man, or if I'm qualified to even court a man. I need to find somebody, an elder or something, an elder woman or elder man to help me in this process, because sometimes it's not going to be the closest man to you or the closest woman to you that's going to, age you into. So that's really important.
That's critical. That's a critical point, because we're so lacking. I only have my past to help me, remember what it was like, but we're a culture that's lacking. Like, we don't have like the group that we used to, group therapy, the grouping that we used to have a long time ago. Folks just come back and sit down and talk. That was That was your psychology right
Yeah.
there. That was your therapy. So you have to be very, very careful these days in choosing a mate. It's critical because you know it's not something, especially in this country, that you can just jump in and jump out.
Yeah.
You know, you got to go through all the paperwork. You got to do the blood test. You got to do a lot of different things to try and become a male and a female unit under one roof.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got the children to think about. If you're a single mother and you have 2 or 3 children, it's critical right now because the grandmothers are like 40 years old now. You're a grandma.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? As opposed to being a grandmother at 60, 65, 70, like that, you know. So you have to be very, very, very careful about who you select. It cannot just be because the dick was good. You know, because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the sex was good. So try hard to pull back from the sex because it is glue. It's going to stick in there.
Yeah.
Especially if it's good, it's over. You're going to get distorted. Your thinking will be like, all you're going to think about is it.
Yeah.
But you got to know that this person is going to take care of you. He's not going to walk off and leave you when you're down and vice versa and yada, yada. So it's a very crucial step. Back in the day, the old folks just picked somebody, okay. They've been watching you since you was this tall, so they already know.
Yeah.
They sure all over there, and all y'all do is jump over the broom because we weren't allowed to, get married per se within the government, how the government was structured. They didn't want slaves to marry, so we created our own way in the village. We just jumped over the broom. Hello, son, that and that meant that we were now a unit across the line. But we don't have that anymore, even though some people do incorporate jumping the broom. And by the way, I decorate jumping the broom. So, so it's really important that this conversation it should go all over the world. Because I guess because I am a grandmother figure in my 70s, I can look back at, you know, the way my dad was and the way his dad was and all that. I'm like, that's gone.
Yeah.
It's finished. I mean, you really have to be very, very careful. A little boy came to me, and this is why I quit the job. I shared it with Nehemiah. I was a librarian at one of the schools, and a little boy in the 5th grade, which made him about 10 and a half years old, came to me. And I'm not talking about 1990. I'm talking about 2022, 23, and said he wanted to talk to me about something. I said, fine, son. Make sure the door's open, whatever. Came back in there. The little boy had 5 labels on the table. All of them had skull and bones. And he wanted me to help him, as he said, plot a way to kill his stepfather. You want me to help him do that? I'm a teacher. I was a librarian. I said, what'd you say, boy? I laughed off the accent.
Yeah.
He said, no, Miss Quill. You see all of them got skull and bones. Hey, this was rat poison. He got this one from AutoZone. He got this one from... Oh, mercy. He was so serious. I said, talk to your mama, honey. I'm not going to be an accomplice. I'm not going to tell you which poison to give me in the morning and which one.
Yeah.
This just happened.
It's crazy.
That's where we are. And I shared that because I want us to be able to see, melanated people, black people, whatever you want to call us, how low on the totem pole we really are.
Did he say why? He
said because he won't do nothing. He won't go to the store. He won't pay the bills. He won't. He said he won't do nothing. I said, well, tell your mom, talk to your mom. I talked to her. She just wants the sex. That's what he said. He told me that. This was in 2022, almost 2023. I was like, okay, I'm finna quit. I had to. Because if he go back and tell them that I told him to give him a little bit of this poison for dinner and then give him a little bit of the red poison.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's going to put me in danger.
Yeah.
I had to quit. So that's the state of affairs that we are in. Our children are being taught by media. Love and hip hop and other, how do you say? Music, M-U, means entertainment. Sick, S-I-C-K, go figure.
Yeah. You get sick through entertainment.
And you got to look at it. You got to start looking at this because something is wrong with this picture. If all the Asians own all the hair shops and the nail shops, all the Hispanics own, they taking care of the houses now, they buying up all the property. All the Indians and the Arabs own all the service stations. And can I keep going?
Yeah.
What we own?
What do we own?
What do we own?
Now, I was thinking about the other day. It's not hard to own some if you do group funding, but the problem with group funding is it requires credibility, and we don't want to trust each other. Yeah. If I look at you as a fellow black man or fellow black woman, I might think you're gonna steal my money or something like that. Yeah, like what?
Asians don't think like that.
Facts.
Hispanics don't think like that. Europeans don't think like that. So why do we think that about each other? We were talking about that earlier.
The main thing, well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the main thing. I say it's one of the main reasons we think this way is for lack of communication. Because every time divide and conquer is used, or every time separation is used, it's a lack of communication. Either you break the people language, or you just throw out false information, which still is a form of bad communication. So I use the example of if me and you friends, let's say Nehemiah, our enemy, she'll come to you and tell you how I'm talking crap about you behind your back. You never come to me and say, hey, is this true? You just take her word for it and run with it. So because of that lack of communication, more division is brought unto us. So I feel like the main thing we can do to start to build that trust again is just communicate. Like, if I got a problem with you, but I ain't gotta just go off that. I'm gonna come to you. Hey, like, did you do this? Did you say? If you really did it, and when I come to you, you say no, then you a coward. So that's fine, because I won't like create an enemy with a coward. So it's like, if you really did say that, and you didn't own up to it when I confronted you about it, and you denied it, cool. I'm not even gonna harp over that. I'm not gonna like really make me bitter and divide the bond between me and you. If you really did do that and you didn't stand up for yourself when I asked you about it, I'm gonna forgive you for it. Like, let's keep building forward. I'm not gonna hold it against you. Now, if I bring it to you and you say, yeah, I did say that, we'll sit here and we'll get to the bottom of it. We still like finna become enemies. Why did you say that? You felt like I did this and felt like, nah, I ain't even do that. All right, cool. It was just a misunderstanding. All right, man, we back cool. Let's get back to building. So since we don't want to communicate and we already got this idea in our head, I can't trust you, you can't trust me.
Where did we get that idea from? We were talking about this earlier.
The Willie Lynch syndrome.
Yeah, we got to get over that. And I'm following now Dr. Joy Wajigru. She's one of the renowned psychologists, Black psychologists in America that is still going along with the work. Her thing is genetically, we've been infected, because when you look at other cultures, you don't see that. They're going to nail shop, them sisters working together.
Yeah.
They ain't even thinking about, this head shop. They're not even on that trip. But we can't even get past that to open a nail shop with just Black women. Or watch Chris Rock's Good Hair. Now see, they deliberately keep Black men from selling hair. They won't sell to you in bulk. You want about $1,000 worth of hair, or 1,000 grams of pounds of hair? Sorry.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, well, cryptocurrency? They will not let my son in cryptocurrency. Was a they? Go figure. They would not let my son in cryptocurrency with his name, John Clemens. Well, fortunately, he has 2 IDs, so he got it. He figured it out after about a year, him getting kicked out. Finally, he used Ali, hello somebody, Aquil, and he got in.
Dang.
I'm telling you, what I'm trying to say is study the culture of America and why we are the lowest on the totem pole. You got to look at it. You can't just say, Black people make me sick. They don't have that. Okay, what is it about? It's going all the way back to the Willie Lynch syndrome, and how Willie Lynch taught Europeans how to keep us enslaved mentally and psychologically and emotionally for over 400 years.
Man,
the jig is up.
A lot of us feel so disconnected from that. Like, It was back then. Like, we haven't been slaves in so long. Stop focusing on it. All right, so
You can't.
one thing I tell people is a lot of laws been reformed. Reform don't mean like to do away with and make some new. Reform means to keep that same thing. It just change the way you do it. Yeah. So all of the policies and this, that, and the third just been reformed. So if it's reformed from a racist idea, the idea is still racist. It's just made in a way where it sound better. It sound more acceptable. So now instead of slave catchers, now we got police. All right, cool. Now instead of a plantation, we got warehouses that you work 1 million hours.
Incarcerated facilities
Yeah,
that
we got
Sam's Club
jails.
own a jail. Sam's Clubs own a prison. Walmart owns a prison. They privatize prison. And then when you Google, they nothing in there but black people, black men. It's like nose on your face plain.
Yeah. It's just a series of death. So I'm going to make a school where y'all don't know no better. After y'all don't know no better, y'all go in the world, got to settle for low-end jobs since you don't got no sense. These low-end jobs make you frustrated. Now you got to go rob. When you go rob, you only robbing people in your community because you taught to hate yourself. After hurting the people in your community, you go to jail. I profit off you. After I profit off you, the money I get from that, I put in the grocery stores to buy processed food to sell back to your people to kill you some more. Mm-hmm. And then it just go in a full cycle. So it's like, if we really sit down and study, dang, why do we hate each other? Why do we do? All right, cool. Now, if we get the solutions, now we're able to look at the solutions and say, okay, we just need to do the same thing in reverse to get a better outcome. If we got took over by divide and conquering, okay, cool. Now that we know that, we know to gain power, we just got to come together. Like, it gets simple after you get the knowledge.
You gotta have the knowledge. That's what
we're be able to sit down with yourself and figure out where we went wrong, where you went wrong. Because if you don't realize that you need healing, you won't heal. Yeah. You know, you have to sit down and meditate and just be silent, be still, be present to figure out the solutions. We don't want to do that. We don't want to sit down and get down to the bottom of it. We don't. If we do it, it's only for the moment. It's only for the moment, and we do it and then just forget about it. Yes. You know, it's like we don't crave solution enough. We normalized poverty. We normalized dysfunction too much. You know, we normalize single parenthood too much. Oh, if he don't do this, then I'ma just do this. And I was like, well, do something to prevent that. You know, like.
And then we're stuck. Yeah. In America, how many people do you know that can literally say, okay, in 2027, I'm going to Africa and I'm going to stay for 3 months to a year.
Yeah.
We don't even plan like that.
Thanks.
Oh, me?
We need to go and study where they say we came from. A lot of people say we were Native Americans now, and they've adopted that. And I think it's okay. But don't you dare tell me that there was no such person as Harriet Tubman. You tell me that, I'm going to cut your throat. Don't tell me that Benjamin, Banneker or Frederick didn't exist.
Yeah.
Are you crazy? Just because you've accepted that you were Native American, that's fine. My great-grandmother was pure Cherokee. Yeah. Oh, so I'm bad. So I can receive it. I can accept it. But I know for a fact that my ancestral lineage is from Africa. I know that for a fact. My African name from the Dogon tribe is Sodayo. And Sodayo means a person who gathers her people. You didn't know that, right?
I didn't.
It's Sodayo. I don't go by it.
Yeah.
That's the same they gave me. They say, you are Sodayo. Sodayo literally means a person who gets people together. Well, that's what we're about to do,
Yes.
We have got to do exactly what you've been saying. We've got to sit down.
Yeah. Just hear each other out.
We're going to have to.
Yeah.
And what better way to do it? Because we all like movies and we all like food.
Yeah.
What better way to do it than to be watching a movie about your history in this country, and then afterwards, let's talk about it. Yeah. Because like I was telling Nehemiah earlier, crying is contagious. Smiling is contagious.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching a movie and I start crying, you might cry too. We need to get that out.
Yeah.
That is the crux of the healing. That's why I said, I want to go to a psychiatrist, need counseling. This is counseling.
Yeah.
Yes.
This right here is counseling.
Amongst your own
That's
people.
systemic. It's being able to talk about it and share it. Share. Look, this is why we sick, y'all. You can't get away from it. It's reality.
Then another thing about building a community like that, sometimes when people get information, it's hard to really change your own life individually. But it's easier if you changing it with other people. Yeah, so if y'all trying to stop eating meat and then you just watch the video, even if it was like an incredible video, you just watched it and it say, all right, this is why you stop eating meat. You gonna go back in your refrigerator. You see all this meat you just bought, you don't want to go to waste this, that, and third. You like, man, I can't stop eating meat. But now, if you watch the video with your partner, you watch the video with your partner and your friends, with their friends, with their partners, and now, a group of people would just watch this video. Now, when somebody else see you finna go eat some meat, they're like, hey, can you remember that video with you? Like, now, all right, cool. Like, having proper reminders is a real blessing because, like, that's how I was able to overcome certain things. I just got to keep reminding myself, like, multiple times a day. Let's say, for instance, if I got a problem staying solid to my girl, like, it's other girls that I find attractive, all right, cool, but I know I don't need to be doing this and that with the other women, all right, cool. All thing I got to do is write it out in my notes, all right, cool. What am I struggling with? All right, staying loyal. Why am I struggling with that? All right, bam, write out on that reason. All right, cool. I just thought of like 3 more reasons. Okay, what's the solution? Bam. And just read this list periodically throughout the day. So now when that urge pop up, it help you come back to your senses when you're able to read the reminder. Same thing. Same thing with the community. Like, it helped me come to my senses when my brother reminded me because I'm pushing it in the back of my head. I really don't even want to remember what the video said because I'm ready to get back to eating the meat. My brother come up to me, hey, you know this or you know that. I helped them with stop eating pork. Just because, like, I wasn't even enforcing it on them. Since everybody around me just knew I didn't eat pork, when I come around, they be like, hey, make sure they don't get this in it. Make sure that, all right, cool. Like, then slowly but surely, they like, all right, if I know you don't eat pork, why? Like, it took a long time for somebody to even ask why, but eventually they like, bro, why? I say this, I say that. They're like, all right, cool. They go back to eating their pork. A couple months later, they're like, man, you know what? I ain't even gonna buy this tight. Like, at first they say it jokingly, bro. I'm gonna be like, you have to stop and put that up. But they are really buy the other candy or they are really buy the other things. So I'm like, all right, cool. Time gone. All 3 of my partners don't eat pork now.
Wow.
Now they don't eat the meat. They don't eat the candy. They don't eat nothing. Like, and if I see them eating the candy or something that got pork in it, but they just didn't know, they were like, oh, all right, I'm done. Like, that's not eating. So having that community,
it's not even about telling people what to do. It's just about doing it yourself. And they look at you, and people look at me all the time. Like, I've been just living a spiritual life since I was in like 9th grade.
Yeah.
And I always dress and act different. And I never, I would tell people why, and they would ask, but they would come to me and they ask me questions and they want to know everything.
Yeah.
And I remember this one time, this girl came to me one time. She was like, I wear a hijab the other day or head wrap, and I had this dress on. I just felt so pretty and royal. And I was like, it just does that to you. Yeah. You know, when you be a light, you don't need to patronize somebody or tell people what to do. They want to do it because of they see how you act. They see how much joy it brings you, you know, and they want to do. They want to be in that state.
They just don't want to be isolated and feel alone. So if somebody else already doing it, now they feel like, okay, it's a group I can join, or it's a companionship I can tag along with. Like, cause nobody
identity.
It takes a lot of strength and courage to present yourself as, like, you know, as Amaya is doing, especially at a very young age. You know, it's like really, really important for women to understand. When I was wearing my hijab, I'm always pretty much covered. But when I was wearing the hijab, I stopped wearing it because when you get older, it's just too tight. A lady said to me, you know, that she was behind me, and so she said something about a rag on my head, whatever. Well, I was raised in a Claiborne-Longford home.
Yeah.
Hey, don't say nothing to me, okay?
Yeah.
Because I'll hurt you. So she said it, and I heard her now, and I turned around and I just said to her, "Do you believe in Jesus?" And she said yes. I said, "Did you ever see Mary, his mother, uncovered?"
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Never. I don't care what you're watching. If it's about Jesus, his mother was always. I said, "So what are you saying, lady?" I didn't know you're that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's about modesty. It's about how a man how is he gonna panic or want to have sex with you when he don't see nothing but a skirt?
Facts.
Can't see nothing but fabric.
Facts.
He had visually, and I heard you say something that struck a nerve or struck a chord. Men are different from women.
Yeah.
Stop it. And if you believe in the books, the books that were supposed to be sent to us, we got a lot of books. The last one was supposedly the Quran. Well, in the Quran, it tells you that a man has visual powers. It's like you're gonna attract whatever you see.
Yeah.
And so if you see them, they all up in your face. Like this one brother, he was a minister. He told us to cover up the twins. He had twins, and because when a man speaks to you, how y'all doing? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just keep it real.
Yeah.
Sisters, don't show him everything. Dang, leave him nothing to be desired in a courtship. He let him wonder what that thing.
Then that's a perfect segue to the other topic. How do y'all feel about women trying to become equal to men? Now, I feel like it's a couple different ways you can take this question, but I'm not even going to elaborate. I'm just saying it like that, and I'm going to just let y'all say what come to mind in y'all head. Whoever want to go first.
What is this? Research.
How do you feel about women striving to become equal to men?
Okay. I'll go first. So, it can't happen. No matter how hard we try. We just biologically, chronologically different.
Okay.
We just won't be the same no matter how hard we try, no matter what jobs we take on, how much money in our bank account, what pills we take to change our features or whatever. It's not going to happen because the Most High, the Creator, when He shaped us, He made us different for a reason. That reason was to balance each other out. If we got all the same of everything, nothing will be balanced.
Thanks.
You can't have one thing without the other. You can't have evil without good. It balances out. And women bring certain things to the table. Men bring certain things to the table. And it's not so much deeper than what we talk about in the media and just amongst ourselves. It's so much deeper. The things that women bring, the things that men bring. Like, if we really understand the power that we both hold and how different it is, then we can really get a lot done. Yeah. We can really build a lot, and we can just something unimaginable. I can't even imagine it, but I know it's something that can be. It's something that is just can be unbreakable if we just understand the power that we have individually and we combine it. It was this. I remember this show I used to watch. It was called Steven Universe. You ever heard of that?
I heard of it, but I can't recall it.
It's like a show of people. It's these different creatures on this different planet, and they all have different powers.
Okay. And
they all have a certain type of gem that they have inside of them, like physically. And when they dance together, like they come together, they dance, and they'll create some huge type of other creature that'll be more powerful than what they were by themselves.
Like a Power Ranger. Power Rangers get together.
And when we dance, and when we understand our power and we harness that power and we dance with somebody, not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually,
Yeah.
physically as well. When we do that, when we dance with a man, with a woman, that when a woman dances with a man and a man dances with a woman, that knows, that understands their power.
Like,
I can't even say it. I can't even explain it.
You can see it on a basic level. Like, if a man get with a man, what can produce nothing? If a woman get with a woman, what can produce nothing? If a woman get with a man, what can produce a whole new life? So now the 2 turn to 3. Now you can multiply and keep increasing in numbers, which is increasing in power. So if we just look at it on a basic physical level, we don't look no deeper than just physical. We can see, okay, we multiply when the man and the woman come together. When the man is separate, you only have one. When the woman is separate, you only have one. When the man and man is together, you only have 2. Vice versa, woman and woman, you only have 2. Only when the man and woman come together will you have 3. Yeah. So that show you in its most simple form, without looking no deeper. If you don't want to like go into the math or the science of it, if you just stay at that level, they show you the power of the feminine and the masculine coming together.
You just said it all.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to compete. I think that the unfairness has come into a lot of the ways that the American so-called churches were set up, where women couldn't be ministers, they couldn't be up front like that. It's like a falling of the power, because when you look at past, there were queens.
Facts. And I'll take it even further than that. I just got done reading on the Encyclopedia of Proof of How the Black Man is God, and he was going through history, and he was pointing out each and every time that when you have a God in our history, you have a feminine expression of that God next to him. It's not how the presidents and the people of the Western civilization do it now. You got the president, then you got the first lady. No, in our history, you got the God, and you got his wife, the feminine expression of that God, side by side. She not behind him, she not under him, she not above him. Side by side, they rule together.
That's it.
That's the order it's supposed to be in. Like, I know in some Islamic religions, the woman walk like 10 paces behind the man. And
that may be hearsay, because I've never practiced Islam for like 30 years. I'm not practicing it now per se, because I'm looking into other realignments. Religion really means being realigned, so that when you leave the planet, you have to leave the planet, that you go where you're supposed to go next.
Yeah.
Next. So, it's like I'm really, really looking at that 10 paces stuff, that 72 version, all that stuff. That's just something that I think the American media, fake media, made up just to keep us distant from the connection between the basic instructions before you leave there, which is literally the acronyms for the Bible. Basic instructions before you leave there. You got to get the basic shit straight.
Yeah.
Oh, before you leave the planet Earth, because you don't know where you're going next.
Facts.
Duh. I mean, get it straight. Get why you came here. And so I think that the rising of the power of the female is apropos. I think it's now because men have been in charge for a long, long time, and look what we got.
I feel like
y'all been running shit, but look what we got. Y'all been running us into what?
I say the problem with it is who been running it. I feel like if the man running it, like if it's a patriarchal society, I feel like it'd be cool. I feel like since our man not running it, that's why it's going to hell. Like if the moral righteous black man was head of the patriarchal system, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I feel like this is a system. Like, this is a system everybody can agree with. But since I feel like we in the Western civilization, and it don't even matter if you in the West or not, the West has took over damn near the whole world. So even if you travel somewhere else, it still has a Western substance to it.
Yeah.
So I feel like if the patriarchal system was headed by a different man, then it'd be okay. But like you said, the man we currently under ran us to hell. And the way that our women, like, I'm all for feminism when you say the word, the empowering of women. But the actual feminism movement is like the way they try to empower women is to make them equal in every respect of the word to men. And I feel like there's such a harmful way for our young women or young men to think, because if you try to make a woman the exact same in every respect to a male, when this not who she is naturally, you stripping her of the great things that make the woman so powerful. Yeah, like if you strip her of her feminine powers and you try to make her more masculine, that's getting rid of the exact things that make her so special, that make her so unique. So if you just only try to like promote the masculine parts of society and you try to do away with the feminine parts of society, that's misogyny. Like, people love to use that word in the wrong context. That's real misogyny when you try to make the women men. Then when you look at that and you really go deeper into it, if all these young women say, okay, we're going to take on these attributes of the men, we're going to grow in these type of ways, they just leave the same thing we spoke about earlier. Now we're talking about it in a more spiritual sense. How we say if you get the man with the man, you don't produce a third. If you a biological woman, but you act more like a male, and whatever respects you act like a male, we won't be able to produce a third spiritually. Yeah. We still can physically, because biologically you still a woman. Yeah. But in the other ways we so powerful, we won't be able to produce this third. So to sit here and say, well, I'm going to be equal to men in these ways and these ways, why are you even trying to do that? For you to make yourself equal to me, I'm in a fallen state. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. So you trying to become equal with me will not raise you. If anything, it's just going to lower you and keep you stagnant. If you trying to get raised, don't try to make yourself equal to me. Make yourself equal to God. And I should follow this same path. I should make myself equal to God. Now we rising. But you trying to say, well, he degenerate. He over-sexualized everything. I'm going to be degenerate. I'm going to over-sexualize everything. That's stupid. And we taught to think, nah, this is empowerment. Like, if you want to be powerful, like, be just as degenerate as me.
And you can see it being off target now. There's women who are in charge of the police department. There's women, just running hardcore there's things that need to be ran by a man.
Thanks.
I mean, come on, people. Let's face it, we're soft. Yeah. We're women. We have babies.
Yeah.
That we can produce. So we're not ever going to be elevated to that particular level. We created Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go there, you just want to go there. The earth was without what?
Form and void.
Yeah. He did put Adam on the planet, and he was lonely, and the Creator supposedly saw that and said, okay, look, sleep.
Yeah.
And he fell asleep. Well, while he was asleep, he supposedly took one of his ribs and formed out of the earth a woman.
Yeah.
And then he woke up. Woke him up. And what did he say when he woke up? He said, whoa. He was standing up there naked. He said, whoa.
Bad Mama Jama.
Bad Mama Jama.
Yeah. Then he said, man, whoa, man, what did you do?
Yeah, touching on this same.
That came from me.
Touching on this same point. Like, that's why the differences should be appreciated so much. Because in the biblical account of the creation of the world, when it was just waters, God gathered the waters into oceans and revealing dry land. And from this dry land being revealed, now trees and plants can grow. All right, cool. Now, on the same day that he gave the water boundaries in the form of oceans, new life was able to grow in the form of the trees and the plants. So if we take away boundaries and we take away separation, we won't be flourishing in our most upright way. Like folks think restrictions and boundaries limit us in a harmful way. Restrictions and boundaries give us the capability to grow in the most upright way. Because somebody can still argue, well, when it was water's still life, water's still beneficial, yes. But when you get that same water boundaries, now you keep the water and some more life able to produce. So if I say, well, I don't want my girl to dress a certain way, I don't want my girl to talk a certain way, folks be like, oh, you controlling, you're oppressive. Bruh, if you too retarded to understand, you won't be able to look at the wisdom in certain restrictions. If I tell my girl to cover her hair, you might say, oh, but this the way she expresses herself. Da, da, da. First of all, it's a million ways to express yourself. So just because one is covered don't mean, matter of fact, I say because you cover the physical ways you express yourself, it make you get even more creative and really be more expressive with your inner qualities. But that's a whole different topic. If I tell my girl to cover her hair, somebody who don't know no better will say, well, bro, you don't need to tell her to do that because this, that, and third. But then when you get to going into it, we can talk about how it affects you internally. Okay, she got to work on her character more. If she don't get praises for her body and her curves, she got to work on her personality. All right, cool. Well, yeah, insecure, all that. When you cover your hair, all right, what does the hair do? The hair release pheromones, sexual pheromones. So, yeah. So when you any part of your body that produce a lot of hair, it's a lot of pheromones coming from this. So if I tell her to cover her hair, cool. That's making her draw less sexual attention to herself. Cool, keeping our relationship stronger. Like, but since folks want to just say, "Oh, you so oppressive," they don't even take the time to say, "Hey, why do folks cover their hair?"
Thank you. And there's so many countries, not just Arabia or Sudan, or there's so many countries where women literally cover themselves. And when I was living on the West Coast, I had the opportunity of being exposed to some Sudanese, some Ethiopians who were just covered. And I asked them, and they literally said that everything that hangs from the woman needs to be covered because that's what your eyes, that's what the man eyes.
I ain't think about that before.
The hair hangs, the breast hang, the butt hang, everything that hangs. Y'all gonna be like,
that's a good point. Yeah, I ain't never think of that.
And so the scriptures encourages you to, if you have courage enough. A lot of people in America, because of the nudity, don't have courage enough to cover themselves, properly, so that the man don't just love. The man could be married, and here you come with some shorts up to your rib cage, and you think he ain't gonna look.
Facts.
You think he ain't gonna look. He might not approach you, but if he's standing behind you in cover, you'll look at that. And that's all there is to it. He gonna look. He gonna have a wife at home, and so the instructions are: if you're out in the public and you see something that excites you, go home immediately and have sex with your wife. Get that off.
That makes sense.
Yeah, get that off of you.
That makes sense.
Because how you gonna be standing in front of me? I'm standing with my man, and you got all your out. Now, first of all, I want to knock out of here. I want to knock you out of here because you know better. Don't be doing that. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
The last thing I look at when I get in the mirror is what? Your butt. Am I lying? Don't we do that? Yeah. So we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
We already know we're gonna get this.
If folks try to use the excuse, well, he just shouldn't be that sexual. I should be able to wear my body. No,
you just got low self-esteem, and you want to attract every man that you can to make your self-esteem, boost your self-esteem. You got low self-esteem. Your daddy didn't love you when you was little. That's all. Your daddy is your daddy, honey.
Now I can see where they coming from when they say, well, like I'm wearing this because I'm confident about my body. You being secure about how your physical appearance look is a good thing, is a way to build self-esteem, but that's such a cheap, that's such a cheap way to build your self-esteem. It's so short lasting because no matter what, like you said earlier, over time Our bodies change. Our bodies decline,
Forget
no matter
it.
how hard we try to fight it. So if I tell a
gonna
sister
shrink.
or if I tell a brother, I look, you can build your self-esteem through focusing on your physical appearance. That's not as wise if I tell a brother or a sister, you can build your self-esteem by working on your inner self and gaining your confidence, gaining your uniqueness, gaining your beauty through your inner self, through the form of your personality, your characteristics, how you talk. All right, cool. That'll last way longer than your physical appearance. So if I'm trying to do what's best for my self-esteem, I build my inner qualities before I build my outer qualities, and not even pay that much mind to my outer qualities. Because if I'm basing my self-esteem on the value of my physical presence, when my body get to decline, I'm gonna become depressed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose all my
That's what
self-esteem.
happened to me. Yeah. As the body started to shrink, I was like, who is this lady? I don't know this. No. And I rebelled for almost 2 years. You know, I was really mad at God. I was like, you need to come here. Come on. Sit your butt down and we need to talk. Because you're not going to give me no fine body, beautiful teeth, beautiful hair, and then take it back and I ain't too. I'm not dead yet.
So what helped you get over there in that 2-year process?
Nothing. I haven't gotten over it. I'm still upset. I'm like, I have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because aging is a part of life. You got to leave the planet. Don't play. And so I'm still like, you are an Indian giver. You gave me teeth. You gave me hair. You gave me beautiful butt. You gave me this, that, and the other. Now you're going to take it back? It ain't even in the ground.
Took it back too soon.
What is that? We don't examine it. We don't question it. Don't question God. I'm going to question you.
Yeah, I never understood that. If I want to become wise from a teacher, the way to become wise is to ask as many questions as possible. If you're a journalist,
Show me that.
If you're a journalist and I want to be a master journalist, I'm gonna take all the notes, ask all the questions. I'm gonna almost be annoying to the point of I'm gonna ask so many questions. Like, cause I'm trying to extract as much as possible. So if this is the most wise being ever, the one that created himself, the Alpha and Omega, the one that did all this, okay. I don't even know how to create $1 million.
That's the smallest creature on the planet.
I don't know how to create none of this. All right, so if you created the sun, the moon, all these things, but I need to ask some questions. But to tell me I can't question God after the Bible been translated and this, that, and third so many times, I need to ask 1 million questions.
Thank you.
So that's to tell me I can't question the person that made me. Either he a bad owner or you wrong in telling me I can't question him. Or the interpretation of you telling me that is wrong. Yeah. Maybe you saying I can't question him as far as I can't say I know better. But to say I can't ask a question, hey, whatever religion you is, I don't want to be your religion. I don't want to be your religion.
Whatsoever. You better ask every question that you want to ask regarding your human evolution.
Facts.
There's many questions in the Bible talking to the Creator, so I don't know what they talking about.
Like everybody that asked questions, everybody that had a conversation with God asked some questions. Everybody, like some people took it too far, asked the questions in a more disrespectful manner. Some people just curious. Hey God, hey, why you got me doing this? Like they probably did the action first. Whatever God asked them, they probably did it first. After they did it, they're like, all right, God.
That's a smart way to go with the word God. God, spell it backwards.
Dog.
Dog was hooked. No, I'm just saying that, in what you just said, my search and questioning for the Creator has made me now, I call him the Creator. Because I don't know what name to use. Some people say Allah. Some people say Yahweh. Some people say, I'm not going to use all those names. I'm not going to do it. I know you are the Creator of everything. So what's going on? What is this? You come on in now. I was telling Nehemiah this morning, I don't always lay out on the floor, and reverence him in that way. I do. Yeah. So, I would just lay down and say, you got this. But for the most part, I say, come on, sit. Can you sit there? Let us reason.
Yeah.
We're going through another day without talking to you.
Facts. I heard somebody say,
we are God. Some people are saying
that's what I tell people all the time. I don't say we God as far as like I didn't create this, you didn't create.
Oh,
I don't got that type of power.
I screwed it out.
So yeah, so I'm not saying we are the creator of the heavens and the earth, but if you just look at the Bible, it tell you made in God's image and likeness. You can't be made in the image and likeness of something you don't come from. If a dog has sex with another dog, the puppy gonna be made like the big dogs. If you got two pit bulls, a baby pit bull gonna come. So if everything in nature, if everything in the world create after itself, and we say God is our Father,
we say that
God gotta be the higher version of us, just like the big dog is the higher version of the puppy.
Thank you.
We just puppies. Like, do we get the knowledge of the big dog? Nah, the big dog know how to like go find food, bring the food back, do tricks. The big dog know how to do stuff the puppy can't do. But do they make the puppy any less of a dog? No. So do it make us any less of a God just because we lost the knowledge of ourselves? No. We still a God. We just in our fallen state. Just like if the puppy get injured, it's already a puppy. Now it's injured with a hurt leg, it's in a fallen state. Do they make it any less of a puppy? No. They're still a dog. They're still a part of the big dog. So we still a part of God, even though we're in a fallen state and we need to correct ourselves. You still a God. I'm still a God. You still a God. We just, like you said, relearn our history. When we relearn our history and know where we come from, now we can prove more and more. I can prove exactly. I don't got to go off my belief. Nah, I can prove how you're a God. I can prove how I'm a God. So I don't need a fairy tale, spookism. Oh, I just believe I'm a God. Nah, like we got enough knowledge now through enough studying. I can break down to you in every level how you a God. If it's something called fractals. It's so cool. Like basically, say if somebody take a picture of this room, right? All right, cool. And let's say we're looking at the big picture, like the whole portrait of this room. We're looking at the picture. With fractals, when you go to the smallest little square and break down the pixels of this picture, and you zoom in, it still got the whole picture in it, which is cool.
Are you talking about the picture of Martin Luther King?
It's like that. Like think about that. Yeah. Think about that. But I'm talking about in real life, in real science. Like think about the whole universe, and then you take the smallest fractal of the universe. You can literally see the same exact picture. Wow. So I'm like, hold on, bro. Like, Google Billy Carson talking about fractals. And bro, like
he off the chain.
You learn about it. You like, okay. So long story short, if the micro is the exact image of the macro, then we, in multiple ways, shapes, and form, is God. Like, cause they was looking at DNA, and through DNA got a code written in it, just like a computer code. And when you dig deeper into DNA, the same code that's written in your DNA is the same code that's written in everything that's living. Animals, plants, structures, this, that, they're like, it got this same code. So then you got to ask yourself, hey, if an artist doing art, he assigned the artwork and let you know, hey, this from Vincent Van Gogh, put it to the market. So if we got this same signature on all of us, they let you know, gang, a big bang that was created by like just some rocks hitting each other. Like, hey, this couldn't be accurate. If everything got the signature of an artist on it, we gotta all be one from a same thing. So when I say you a God or you a God, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not trying to just uplift you. I don't really care about this. Yeah, like I'm telling you what it is. I don't care about making you feel good. Like that's a completely different topic. I'm sure it do make you feel good. Instead of me calling you a B word, a H word, and this, that, and third, and if I call you a God, I'm sure they make you feel better. But that ain't my purpose of it. I'm calling you a God because that's really what you is. If I see a cat, I'm gonna call it a cat. Like, so if I see you and your divineness, all this melanin around you, I'm looking at God. I know what I'm like. I don't gotta die and go to heaven to see God. I'm looking at God every day.
Yeah, because as you said earlier, that spectrum of color exudes from melanated people.
Facts.
So, and then the other thing that really made me just sit down for a whole year, just kind of like, look at how he rolls. I say he because that's the common denominator here. Look at how he rolls. He created how many cats are there on the planet? We got Brad, we got, and which cat is the king of the jungle? Don't tell me you don't know. Which cat is labeled the king of the jungle?
The lion.
Hello, somebody. Why?
Why?
Why? I'm just asking you.
I don't know. I never thought about it.
Because of that mane.
Okay.
That mane. And he is the only one within the cat kingdom that's got 4 wives. Hello. I want you to hear that again.
Okay.
So I'll be repetitive. He's the only one within the cat family. I'm talking leopards, cheetahs, just name it.
Yeah.
This got a mane and 4 wives.
Yeah.
And they will go towards him.
Yeah.
That's why you can't nobody touch him. Because they're like, you mess with him. I'm telling you, this polygamy thing, I mean, it's because I'm having accepted it emotionally and psychologically.
Yeah.
But I've accepted it intellectually. That's how he rolls. If you're going to give your woman a bouquet of flowers, say Valentine's Day, which one are you going to pick? The roses, the daisies, the tulips, or which one?
The roses.
I'm just saying, any category you go in, you're going to see that he's created something more, brilliant. Like, we are melanated people. We are the top of the line. Yeah. We're the only ones that's got all this dark stuff in us. We're special. And we don't want to, because of the powers that be. I'll invite everybody to go back and watch the movie The Butler. There you can see the presidential escalation. You can see how the presidents were involved in holding us back.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a system because they know who is the they. Go figure. They know that we are the kings and queens of the planet Earth. Yeah. They know it.
Yeah, I can't.
European people.
When I look at like the different tactics they use, I can't even be mad at the tactics they use. They doing their job. Their job is to keep us down so they can stay up. Any people who have power will not be quick to give their power up to people who will run the world in a different way that they would. They will only be likely to give their power up to a person who are able to be synonymous with the type of rule they have. So if they doing their job, they got into power, they didn't come into power a righteous way, but they doing a hell of a hard job. You can come through. But if the power wasn't gained in a righteous way, then you can't get mad at them trying to keep the power in an unrighteous way. Why would they switch it up? They doing their job. Their job is to stay the cream of the crop or trying to take the place of the cream of the crop. So if they doing their job as our enemy, that's cool. We just need to do our job and ally together. So now this is the last question I'm going to leave y'all with. Then we're going to go and get out of here. Excuse me. How do y'all feel about parents giving their children freedom or especially excess of freedom?
That's a pretty dangerous concept these days because I'm an educator since 1979 and I've watched the proliferation of cartoon madness. So I would say veto because of the kind of society that we live in now that take advantage of the fact that there's a child like I'm a job quitter usually. I just quit another job because a little boy 6 years old called me a liar, and I don't think that was apropos. And one thing I know is beat his butt. Beat his butt, but I didn't. I just I turned it over to the principal. So my thing is. Freedom is it's pretty precarious word, and I would monitor everything my child did.
Facts.
I would monitor it. I just watched SpongeBob after not watching it for many years, but somebody told me to tap back into it, and I saw a scene where a fat man was bending over, and a little boy stuck a lollipop up his butt. A sucker. A lot. Suck it up his booty.
They gotta be one of the new episodes.
Yeah.
You know, the new episodes been getting crazy. Like,
So what is that?
all the episodes that we grew up on,
Yeah.
like that. Now that I watch it back, it is some stuff that's like,
It
oh,
is,
that's
but
so,
it's not
but
as
it,
explicit.
yeah, it's not that deep. Like
I don't
now,
watch SpongeBob. But
now the episodes is crazy.
It's crazy for you to do that. That's like homosexual. Oh, well, that's why you gonna stick it in his booty? A lollipop? Come on now. And everybody just cracked up. That wasn't funny.
Yeah.
So no, I would be very subjective about giving my child freedom.
Yep. What's your take on the new line?
well, I'm still a child in my father's house in a way. So, I mean, the scripture says to raise a child up in a way that they should go, and they won't depart from it when they get older. I'm sure it's accounts of children eventually branching off to doing whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. I guess when it comes to that, it just depends on just are you I guess, do you trust your child enough to have freedom? Because freedom is whatever freedom is to them. To me, I mean, I'm pretty conservative. I don't do a lot of things that my age group does. My definition of freedom is not the definition of other people.
Yeah.
Of other people's freedom. So just depending on what the definition of that freedom is, just depends on how what is the parent teaching the child, to be free in what way?
Okay.
Yeah, what category?
Yeah, what kind of free? Sexually free, financially free, spiritually free, whatever, And my definition of freedom is just my definition, my expression of freedom is just to be aligned with the Creator, be aligned with myself in whatever way I choose, whether that's art, whether that's the clothing that I wear. That's my freedom. I love to dress up and express myself in that way. I love, just my definition of freedom is just to be free in a way that's beneficial to myself and others.
Okay. Now, what I would say is your definition of freedom is vastly different from the other young 17-year-old definition of freedom. Like, their definition of freedom is I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. Now, them same three principles might still be applicable to you, but you just apply them different.
Yes.
They do what I want, whatever is referring to I'm underage, but I'm a drink, or I'm gonna go to this party, or I'm gonna have sex with who I want to have sex with, or like when we say free, we got to think about free to do what? What exactly. Are you getting released into? Mm-hmm. So if you get let off the leash and now that you're free, the society we live in is a degenerate, sinful society. So to let somebody free in our communities is to release them into like indulging into stuff they don't need to indulge in. Right. So in the book I just got done reading called A Return to Modesty, it talk about a woman who don't brush her daughter hair, and she let her daughter leave the house looking a mess because she giving her daughter the freedom to wear her hair like she want to wear it. I assume, since I don't have a kid, I can just assume that most parents got the best interests of their kids in mind. But when it's an absence of proper guidance and instructions, something else will always fill that void. Like that void not gonna stay empty. So if you don't instruct them and you don't guide them, okay, the void empty right now. Now you leaving room for anything else to fill this void up. So now, instead of this kid operating with intelligence and wisdom, or if the kid don't even got the intelligence and wisdom, they low-key want to rebel, but they still following you because you the father or the mother. They still just doing what you say. And you making them do the actions that a wise or intelligent person to do. Now their void is filled. Now something can't come infiltrate and feel itself in. So I feel like when folks get their kids freedom, it for one, it go back to the same thing we said earlier. The parents got to be knowledgeable enough. The same thing with the courtship. Bro, if you're not knowledgeable enough, nobody want to listen to you, first of all. Second of all, if you're not knowledgeable enough, even if they do want to listen to you, you don't got nothing to say. So you don't have no knowledge to impart on them. So it's not that you giving them freedom. They have no choice but to be free because you don't got enough knowledge that will tame them. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like the restrictions is a good thing. I feel like freedom shouldn't be permitted. But who's smart enough to give them proper instructions? And who's smart enough to say it in a way that a child can receive it and don't feel like they being punished or this, that, and third? When you make righteousness feel like a punishment, who the hell want to be righteous?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's like, oh, you got in trouble to read a book. Well, I should have been reading a book before. I got in trouble, so I won't get in trouble.
So now I'm associating trouble with reading. Right. So now, if I do the inverse, I'm going to associate fun and freedom and enjoyment with playing video games, with anything but reading. Right. So it's like, since we don't got enough sense as the adults, our children have no choice but to be free. Even if we want to settle them down or whatever, when you try to give instructions that's not receptive to the person you giving the instructions to, they just as free as a person that don't got no instructions at all. So I feel like I wouldn't want to give my kid freedom. Not in a way where they unsupervised. I give them freedom in like, okay, you can wear whatever you want to wear if it meet this certain code. You can watch whatever you want to watch if it meet this certain code. You can do whatever you want to do if it meet certain guidelines. Yeah. So
boundaries to everything.
Boundaries to everything. Will I tell you exactly what you need to be doing? No. I will tell you exactly what you don't need to be doing. And from that list, you can cultivate what type of person you want to be. If you deviate from that list, I'm on your butt like back pockets. The whole time. I don't care if you grown. I don't care if you're a kid. I'm on your butt, like extensively.
Yeah. But I think that freedom, the word freedom will go along with, as a child's aging.
Yeah.
The most the parents have to be concerned about is when they get into the preteens, when they're going to want to explore things without you. You're going to be like, why are you on my back? Kind of thing,
Yeah.
So make sure that you sit down with the child and say, well, look, you're going to be 13 soon. What do you think needs to be different than from when you were 12 or 11?
That's important.
Have that conversation.
That's important.
And then literally, parents, write it down, And so now they're 12, now they're 13. Okay, you're 14 now. What are we going to be doing differently? Well, Mama, I think I should be able to do my own hair. I think I should be able to. Okay. I mean, that's in the records. Just keep records. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because
that's smart. I ain't never think about that. That's smart.
Well, they would deviate. They would want to deviate. They would say, well, I didn't say, oh, yeah, here it is, right? When 2006, when you turned 13, we wrote.
Yeah.
Keep a track of it so that they don't get a chance to wiggle out. And then by the time they get, courtship age, it's time for you to really, really start looking at, okay, you're 17. Let's start looking at some things now around boys. Oh, you want to stay out? I won't stay out all night. No, that doesn't agree with me, see?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is have an open conversation each year or each 2 years about what freedom really means. What does that mean to the child? Because they're going to rebel.
Facts.
And just like how a parent and child is, the Most High, He gives us freedom. We get to do whatever we want to do. Whether we want to live a upright life or wicked, whatever, evil, no type of boundaries, no type of morals. We choose what type of life we want to live, what type of foods we want to eat, what type of music we want to listen to, what type of movies, whatever it is, what type of man we attract, what type of women we attract. We get to choose that, right? By the way that whatever our actions is. Even though we have freedom, but that don't mean it don't come without consequences.
Facts.
And within that courtship Yeah, as we started out with, those boundaries are going to come up.
Yeah.
Like this man, I've been he's been helping me out a little bit because my car got stolen and I needed to transfer it. And he's been trying to hit on me, and that's okay because I ain't all that, but now. Right? So but it was just the way he was going by it that I kept track.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What? All of his indication was just all about sex, all about sex, all about sex. I'm like, your ass is 90 years old and I'm 91, and that's all you can think about. Stop it.
Yeah.
Let us be mature enough to have a conversation about something else other than you talking on the back home. You can't see nothing. That's just the way I roll.
And that's a good point because like they point out the age don't mean that you can be a grown kid. Like you would think, if you that old, you should be able to be mature, court somebody properly, this, that, and third. To only approach her like 666, that's something a child would do.
It lets me know that is not on my agenda. I have a list.
Yeah.
Of characteristics and attributes. All I'm looking for now is companionship.
Facts.
Past a certain age, the sex drive gonna dry up. Hey, don't y'all be tripping. You can't help it.
Yeah.
It's like it comes alive. Your cycle starts, you don't even, what? Oh my God. You didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
It just comes. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Go back, get off of me. You don't do it. You're just stuck with it. That's what I was telling the Lord when he was sitting with me. I was like, you're gonna have to rethink this. All I said to God, Creator, you're gonna have to rethink. And when I drop this body, let me help you. Let me help you. Yeah. I mean, what would be better than somebody who's gone through what you created? Now I can help you. I can say, well, take the period away. I can help you.
She like, yeah, we'll need that.
Make a better human, you know what I'm saying? Because you may be an alien. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It may have been an alien that put us here. Without my hair on my head, I feel like an alien. No, really, it's got ridges in it. It's big ball in it. I'm an alien. I'm not.
So the ridges make you an alien.
It's just the way the head is shaped. If I would have cut all my hair, people be like, yep, you're an alien.
I might have some alien in me too then.
Let me see your head.
We all got some weird shaped heads.
We all got some funny heads. But look, y'all, we gonna go and wrap it up. Nehemiah, tell them where they can find you on social media. Are you on social media?
I am. I'm on Facebook, Shukriya. You may call me Sugar Muhammad. I'm a California State Certified Herbalist. I have a vegan vegetarian house to run in Soulsville. It's only open for reservations. So 901-503-9488. Call me, make reservations, come in and eat. Yeah, but can I cook me mine?
Yes. I mean, y'all see? Right?
I'll tell you where they can find you, Nehemiah.
Okay. My Instagram is princessofyah. My business page is I am creations _7. And my Facebook is Nehemiah Withers. And the Instagram for Ezekiel 4712 is her restaurant is Ezekiel 47? Vegetarian. Ezekiel 47.
I thought it was just Ezekiel 4712 vegan vegetarian house run. That's a lot.
Just look up Ezekiel 47
and it'll
come up and you can make your reservations there.
Yes, sir. I hope y'all appreciate the podcast. Hope y'all enjoy everything y'all heard. If y'all like what y'all heard, y'all get it with me on the next episode of DontBeAViking. Yes, sir. Ski.